Hi, I'm Holly from Flow Movement Therapy, where I empower you to help you get out of your aches and pains by teaching you how to move better. And today we're going to talk about what your knees should be doing. Because for many of us, we find that your knees are in pain, but we're not quite sure all the things that they're supposed to do. So today I'm going to teach you what your knees are supposed to do, and then teach you some ways of getting those movements back. So we know that our knee is a hinge joint, so it is like a door hinging going forward and back, so bending and straightening. But what we don't realize is that your knee is also a rotational joint. So there's a lot more bending and straightening in your knee, but there's also some rotation that needs to happen. And for many of us, we tend to be missing some of that rotation for various reasons, either from an injury or because we've been told to move our knees in a certain way, or because some of the things above or below your knee aren't quite playing along as they're supposed to. So we want to teach some of those movements to come back today. I'm going to teach you about how to bend and straighten your knee while adding that rotation in, and also encouraging you to move some of the other parts above and below your knee to help bring back some of those motions. So first off, we're going to talk about bending your knee. And what we want to have happen is when you bend your knee, we also want to get some rotation going there in the joint. So we're going to start off first with bending your knee, then we're going to work on straightening your knee with rotations in the opposite direction, and then we're going to talk a little bit about getting your pelvis to play along nicely to get the top of your femur to move as we would like it to go. So if you like my exercises, the best way to support my channel is to hit the like button, to subscribe to my channel, to both of those will let YouTube know that this is good stuff and it will share with other people, or to comment below how you're doing with the exercises to start sharing that dialogue with lots of you. So let's get back to the exercises. I'm going to stand up and we're going to talk about the bending of your knee. So when your knee bends, we want to get some rotation going on in there. So as your knee bends, we want to encourage this rotation. If you look at the bones that make up your knee, we want to allow, like you're thinking of your kneecap as a headlight, we want to encourage it to rotate so it's going inwards towards your big toe. Now, I don't want you to necessarily direct it that way, but what we're going to do is we're going to work on an exercise that's going to teach that rotation to just come into your body naturally. So what we're going to do is the knee that you're interested in working on is going to be your front leg. We're going to get you to bring your body weight over top of that leg. So thinking about bringing your belly button over top of the middle of your foot and letting your knee bend underneath you. So we're not doing a squat or a lunge. We're coming forward and then letting your knee bend to catch you underneath it. So we're just going to practice that where you come forward and your knee is going to bend on its own. And so that's the first piece, is just to get your body weight forward and allowing your knee to learn when it should bend instead of when we think it should bend. And then we're going to add in our rotations on top of that. So I want to encourage you to take your entire body and rotate the whole thing towards the midline here. So I have my left leg forward and I'm going to rotate my entire body to the right. So that's going to encourage the rotations of all of the bones from your pelvis, your femur, all the way down to your ankle and all your arches. Everything we want rotating in towards the middle. Now, I don't want you guiding your knee to go in a specific way. I want it to just figure out, because of the joint surfaces, where it should be going. And we should be able to reintroduce these more extreme ranges of motion in a pain-free way to be able to bring this back to your body. So a couple things to note here. Make sure you're getting on top of that leg, letting your knee bend when it wants to, and allowing your arches to completely relax underneath your foot as you go. And so that's going to reintroduce those rotations back into your body and allow the rotation of your knee and the dropping of your arches to work together to pronate your whole leg. Now we want to work on the opposite of that. So we want to work on the rotation that happens when you straighten your knee. So what we're going to do here is, before, when you were bending your knee, everything was rotating in. And now we want to rotate everything out. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to put all my weight onto my left leg. And as I straighten my knee, what I want to do is not pull up on my quads or try to lift my patella, my kneecap. I'm not trying to lift those up. What I'm doing is I'm just letting gravity and the joint surfaces just let me fall back into that joint. So it should be pretty passive. You shouldn't be doing a lot of work to do that. You're just letting yourself fall back into your knee joint. So there shouldn't be a lot of effort involved in that. Shouldn't be trying to squeeze any muscles in particular. We're just taking the joint surfaces and letting ourselves fall back into them so that you're stacked up like a column on top of your heel. Now let's add in those rotations. So when you were bending your knee, we were rotating in. When you're straightening your knee, you're going to rotate out. So as you put your weight onto, for me, my left leg, as I fall back into my knee joint, I want to rotate everything to the left. And we're just going to come in and out of that. So I'm going to fall back into my knee joint and rotate everything to the left. So I'm going to take the middle of my ankle, my shin bone, my kneecap, my femur, and my pelvis. They're all going to rotate to the left. And that is going to be the rotations that you get naturally in your knee straightening type of configuration. So we want to be able to do both of those patterns, where you bend your knee and let everything rotate in, and you straighten your knee and rotate everything out. And you may struggle with one of those if you've had some knee injuries. But keep at it, keep practicing it. Now the next thing we want to do is we're going to work on your pelvis. So you're going to find a flat spot on the wall where you can put your body there. And you're going to have 3 points of contact. So I'm going to have my pelvis, my shoulders, and the back of my head, if it's comfortable, staying on the wall. And here what we want to do is we're going to tilt your pelvis forward while you keep your contact with the wall. And we want to allow your femur, so this big leg bone here, to do a slightly different motion than we may be used to doing. So I'm going to give you 2 different prompts. One of them will be right for you, so choose which one is best for you. So as you tilt your pelvis forward, so that's thinking about increasing the arch in your lower back, I want you to think about taking your sit bones wide. So you're taking the base of your pelvis and you're trying to widen it out and letting the femurs go back in towards the wall. And so that's just going to change where you bend your knee from. So just practicing increasing the curve in your lower back, widening your sit bones, and letting the tops of your femurs travel back in your hip sockets. So just see if that's the right one for you. If not, it may be the other end of your femur we want to talk about, so the part that's down here at your knees. So as you tilt your pelvis forward, think of taking these bottoms of your femurs forward and see if you can get those moving forward first or faster, or initiating them from the bottom of your femurs. It just depends on which one your body needs and which one frees things up for you a little bit better. But practice each of those and just see which one gives you a bit more freedom in your knees to be able to unravel some of those aches and pains. So hopefully those 3 things were helpful for you with your knee pain. Thinking a little bit differently about how your knees work. Adding in the rotations inwards as you bend your knee, the rotations out as you straighten your knee, and then starting to bend your knee from a slightly different place and seeing if those unravel the injuries for you. Hey, if you like my channel and you want to support me, there's 3 easy ways to do that. If you press the like button, then more people will be shown my content. You can subscribe so that you will never miss what comes up, and make sure you comment below and let me know what kinds of things you want to see.